All right, thanks for joining me today. This is 55 and counting. Wow. Uh, I didn't realize how my brain had slowed down at the end of the day here. So 55 and counting, about how I'm starting over at 55. I turned 55 in 2025, and yeah, it's there's a lot going on this week. So with work, I'm changing over schedules in this coming up weekend. Then the following weekend is going to be Easter weekend, and lots going on. Today I applied for an apartment that I'd like to move into. I found one with some subsidized living arrangements, so that's good. I mean, I hope I get the subsidized one, because things are very tight. If I have to get apartments, they're priced really high. Now, I do have a little bit of money over and above. Like, my wage is pretty decent, but with student loans and everything, it's pretty tight. And probably if I was in a normal situation where I had been working at this job for a while, would be all right. But when you're starting over, you got no emergency funds. You have nothing, basically, right? That's where I'm at. So I'm starting over from zero. So going out and getting an apartment that basically sucks all your income is actually pretty scary. So yeah, having the discounted rate is kind of nice. It's only a few $100, but it's good. And as far as I know, the pricing will extend past the first year, but that's not as big a deal, because I get two raises. So I get my negotiated union raise, whatever they call it, inflation raise or whatever, at the end of the year. But I also get my first year. So my first 3 years I get raises. So that's all good. So if the rent goes up, I will be able to manage it. Whereas right now it's just a little bit freaky. Now, I don't think I can get in until July, and it's only end of March, near the end of March. So I talked to where I'm staying, and they said, yeah, that should be okay. So that means I don't have to worry about where I have to live in between. So yeah, now the whole point of I guess what I'm trying to get across is, when you're starting over, things are very, what's the word I'm looking for? They're unstable, they're unsure. Things you take it granted for, like when I had my condo, you knew where you're going to live, you knew what your payments were. Every 5 years you had to redo your mortgage or whatever, whenever you did. Some people do it sooner, some do it longer, but I did every 5 years. So every 5 years I renewed my mortgage. You kind of knew if interest rates were going up, it was going to be more. If it was going down, you're hoping it stayed down until you got that done. Anyway, but stability was definitely there. When you had a job you were at, you didn't have to worry about probation, and are you going to make it that first stretch to get past the probation? Although, I mean, making it past probation isn't necessarily a guarantee you have a job, but it's just that security of it. And then I'm also trying to work on YouTube. So I have this whole structure I've set up for my YouTube, and I think it's gonna be good. But it's funny because I keep scheduling and planning stuff because it's not working out. So I have low energy levels. I'm getting my exercise going again. I've taken a little bit of time off there with my work schedule because it was just killing me. I hadn't worked full time in almost 6 years. So going back full time was definitely an issue. Then, of course, the stress from, that stress when you start a new job. Well, it hit me a lot harder than it's ever hit me before. Like, I've been stressed at new jobs before, but it just kind of rolls off you. But yeah, so it was definitely it was something to overcome, right? So energy levels, stress levels, and then I kind of hurt myself a little bit at the gym, and now it kind of became an excuse as to why I didn't go and yeah, so I just got up this morning, did my walk this morning, and kind of I rescheduled myself to try and make things easier, right? So I'm not feeling overly tired from working out, but I'm still getting some benefits from it. And I want to get more into the strength training side of it, which has really been hit and miss. So I got to get the walking going again, get some strength training, and I'm revamping that a little bit. And I start even more basic than I was before. Like for instance, I'm not going to do bench press. I'd like to do bench press, but I'm going to do just wall push-ups to start with. Just an example of, I'm still getting the same chest workout that you would from bench press, but obviously a push-up is just body weight, but since I'm still standing and I'm pushing off a wall, I don't have my full body weight. And why am I rambling on about this? It's just, you take so many things for granted when everything's going well, and you start over and everything is it's like a hill to climb. It's like a mountain, right? And kind of get going, and then you're like, oh boy, I have to reset. And whereas when everything's in line and everything's going good, you don't necessarily think of resetting. You just readjust and keep moving, right? Especially when you're younger, working out, it's like, oh god, I got an ankle sprain, I'll just run a little slower. And then, a mile later you're running again. Now I'm lucky if I could even run a mile. And the whole moving into a new place, like I haven't rented for a long time, and rental prices are ridiculously shocking. So that's a little bit to overcome. And then I started looking at like, okay, well, if I'm paying this much for rent, and I'm paying this much for student loans, and I'm paying this much for food and this much for gas, like how much am I saving? And I start going, well, okay, well, when I'm 90, I might have enough to go on a holiday. And the whole world's like feeling it, right? So it's not just people starting over. When you're starting over, you don't have that base to work from. Whereas, the people, I'm looking back to when I was working at the bank. I was working full time. It wasn't a great wage, but I was secure. I knew what I was getting. I had a pension being built up, and so on and so forth. So everything was kind of working its way, and you didn't really stress about the fact you didn't make a lot of extra money, right? So fast forward to today, I don't have a pension that's going to cover me when I'm older. I don't have that security that I'm past probation, right? So that can be an issue. Like, if I get sick in the next 5 months, how do I recover? If I all of a sudden can't drive, which I'm now driving a bus, what do I do? I have no fallback, right? So I need to have that fallback. So everything's just kind of teetering on disaster, but there's a lot of positives where things are going. So if I can keep my focus and maintain my health and keep working towards the next step, I'm covered. I should have a job for 10 years till I'm 65, maybe even older. There's a couple guys that are older than 65. So if I can keep that going on a very basic level, I should have the basics covered for 10 years, maybe even more, 10 to 15 years. So there's a lot of positives, but then when things stop going well, then it's like, okay, am I gonna make it? Yeah, so there's so much going on. So back to this apartment thing. It's an application, and like, it's funny because I'd imagine 50 years ago, my parents would walk in and say, I want to rent this place, or I want to buy this place, and there'd be a handshake, and there'd be some money exchanged, and then it was done. And whereas now it's like they wanted all my personal information. It was like my truck license, my driver's license, my social insurance number, and I'm like, should I be giving all this to them? Like, I mean, I know you give all that to the bank when you get a mortgage, but I'm not getting a mortgage, and they're charging me way more. And I know that there's a lot of issues with people who don't pay rent, people skip out on rent, and there's all kinds of stuff they deal with. But on the other hand, I'm like, it's very invasive. It's very, yeah. And like, it's a lot to kind of, go from where I had my own place for several years, everything was good. And I'm not going to go through the whole story of how I went from everything was good to not here, but obviously when I went back to school, I changed my trajectory, and when things didn't work out, the parachute didn't come out and I kept falling. So so then you end up in a situation where if you survive the fall, or the parachute opens late, maybe you can not die, but recovery is still going to be a painful landing, right? So it's kind of where I'm at now, and that whole realignment of my head, it's going, this is what life used to be, erase that, because that's not reality anymore. I can't have those expectations. I can't take that as a sign of where it's going. Now I'm kind of going on about it, but I don't feel bad. Like when my situation, I don't wake up every day in a cold sweat, stressed, and I drive bus through one of the I guess poorest neighborhoods in my city, Saskatoon, and there's homeless people there, and they get on the bus just to warm up. And I'm like, I'm actually feel kind of lucky I didn't end up like that. And I know there's lots of people around the world that have things so much worse than me. But when you're 55 and your health's not great, and you're like, I'm really only steps away from that. I'm a lot further away from being a billionaire than I am from, I shouldn't even say billionaire. I'm a lot further away from taking holidays on a sandy beach than I am from being a homeless person on the street. So I haven't taken a holiday in years, right? And so I started thinking, oh, I'd like to take a holiday. Well, I'm like, yeah, but that money can go somewhere else. And while I'm kind of mulling over all these things, I'm also thinking, okay, I need to save up money to move. So I need to have first month's rent. I need to have deposit. I need to have money I might have to get a few things. I need to, when I move in, I need to have money for rental insurance. I need to, set myself up. I'm going to need to pay for power. They may want a deposit because I haven't been with them for a few years now, couple years, and it might even be a different power company, just because it's a totally different part of the city. So is it going to be Sask Power? Is it going to be City Power? Is it going to be somebody else? I don't really know. So again, deposit, that shouldn't be a huge deposit, but it's just, you start thinking about all the things you're going to have to pay for, and it starts adding up. And it's like, I didn't have to worry about this before. I didn't have to think about it. Life was just on cruise control. So starting over has a lot of things to do it. And so essentially what I'm trying to do right now is I'm trying to do things in steps, right? So with moving, I saved up enough money to pay for rent. So once I've passed that threshold, I've started looking. I've got money coming in the next 4 or 5 weeks. That's going to be enough to cover my deposit and whatever the deposit on the apartment, plus probably a deposit on the power and anything I'm going to have to pay for. So I'm going to have enough money to move in. Even though I'm not moving in July, I have enough money right now. So I've saved that much money. And surprisingly, it's a lot more money than I was thinking. So then I start looking at other things that I might need. I'm pretty sure I'm going to need like kind of some throw rugs just so that the stuff that I have in there doesn't scratch the floor, because I don't want to be charged for damaging their floor. So I started thinking about stuff like that. And that's really inconsequential. Do I need a mover? Because I have a storage space right now where I have stuff in. Do I want to pay a mover to do that, or how do I want to rearrange that? So I started thinking about that, because I don't know exactly my move-in date, because they just said July. So that's up in the air. So I'm just trying to take everything in stages. And then I started thinking, well, once I'm in there, I need to have an emergency fund. Like if something happens, how do I get an emergency fund? And because if I'm all of a sudden making 60% of my wage because I'm on some kind of insurance or workers' compensation or something like that, like how long can I go? And so that's a big kind of question mark. Like if something happens after I move in or after I pass probation and I'm in that situation, like how do I, 3 years down the road, how do I start building that up? And it's just another step. So I have a process. Keep saving up to move. Then I go into the emergency fund, and then of course I start thinking about, well, long-term future, my RSP. Now, I do have a pension, but I'm only going to be there 10 years. So how big is the pension going to be? Probably not big enough. So how much RSP do I want to have? So I started thinking about how much I want to have and how I have to build that up. Very, very different thinking than just 5 years ago. So with that said, then now I'm also back with YouTube. And so talking about YouTube, I'm like, okay, I want to do YouTube because I enjoy making videos. So I enjoyed making videos, and I enjoy talking about things like this where it's a process. And I hope to make videos where I'm kind of explaining a little bit more, but right now I'm still just trying to figure it all out. So when I do a video, what is the best video? So I watched one of the gurus, and they were talking about how videos that have longer videos that have more information in them. So I'm sharing lots of information in the same video, and I don't know who it's going to really resonate with. People in the same situation, who are maybe looking at how to restart and what they need to focus on. So I've already talked about exercising, I've talked about moving, I've talked about finding a place, savings. Now I'm talking about a secondary income that's kind of a hobby, and how do I create that so that it makes money for me. So with the YouTube thing, I'm doing this channel, but I have a gaming channel because I play games. Okay, this I have to go back and explain a little bit. I used to play Clash Royale years ago after I had a head injury from when I was involved in a bank robbery. I was the victim, I wasn't the bank robber. I'm hoping you knew that. Anyways, so I got hit in the head, and I had headaches and other light sensitivity, all kinds of things. But when I played the game, it kind of helped my brain kind of focus, and then I could relax and go to sleep. So that was a good thing, but it ended up becoming kind of a habit. Anyway, so I did kind of get my gaming under control, so I wasn't just like playing games all the time. But at the height, I was playing a lot of gaming on my phone, and actually had an effect on my eyes. So negative effect on my eyes. Anyway, so going on with it, now I'm like, I play games, so how can I maybe make some money? Because I see all these people making videos, and I'm like, well, I can make some videos. And so my videos aren't really top notch yet, but I'm learning, so I hope they'll get better as I go. But if I can get monetized, and I'm not talking like Mr. Beast money, I don't need to make $1 million a video, although if I ever did, that would be cool. I don't know if I'll get to be that good of a videographer or editor, or even just my ideas might not be that good, but who knows. And if I get to that point where I'm just making that little bit of extra money, and I can take all that money and put it into savings, RSP, because if you take the money and spend it, you still have to pay tax on it. You're supposed to. And if you're paying tax on it, you're only really getting like maybe 50 to 70% of it, depending on how much you make. But let's just say on top of my current wage, I was making 50%, which would be decent. I just put that into an RSP, and then I don't have to worry about paying tax on it, because it'll be a tax deduction, which would be really good because it would go towards my savings. And that's really why I'm doing it. I'm doing it so it kind of gives me that extra savings. It gives me that extra money in case everything just goes to pot and I'm back to not knowing how I'm going to make a living, right? So if this is going to transition at some point to where I can't bus drive, I have YouTube. And the gaming one would be easy. So if I was doing some gaming and I took some money out of RSPs to live, or whatever transition point I was at, or depending on how old I am. Yeah, so it's such a huge factor that if I can somehow find success in it. Now, I'm not overly successful, but my short videos are already getting like between 1,500 and 3,700, I think is my high point. We'll say I think I have one at 4,000, so around 4,000 views. Now that's a short video, so that's not really good. To get paid out, you need to have 10 million views in 3 months plus 1,000 subscribers, which is, I'm nowhere near that. I think I have 8 subscribers, and of course I'm in a month anyways, I'm maybe looking at 12,000 views, and I need 10 million in 3 months. So yeah, 36,000 views. It's a long ways off. But the fact that I'm getting up to 4,000 on one video is actually not too bad, since I haven't been overly consistent. So I'm trying to figure out how to make that more consistent, so that the algorithm recognizes me as a viable entertainer for its viewers. And I seem to get quite a few people liking my videos, and they watch a lot of my shorts, not my longs as much. I haven't got that yet, but if I can get some consistent viewing, that's gonna go. So I've got a whole plan. Where I'm making extra videos, so that further down the line, I'm gonna have a whole lump of videos where I can put out one a day for like 3 months. And I'm hoping I'll get one a day for 3 months. But even if I get one a day for 1 month or 2 months, and then I can go back to doing like 2 or 3 a week, that would be great. Since I play every day, right? But then the video time, so the game takes 3 minutes, but today for some reason, because I messed up, so that doesn't really count. But it probably took me about 2 hours to do a video and edit it, just roughly. And I wasn't moving fast. I was taking my time. And so this whole process is like, how do I get myself so I can do that very easily while I'm working and not have energy? Whereas this video, it's me talking about what my experience is of restarting, and what I'm trying to do. So I'm not really going to edit this, right? And I don't really say anything too questionable, so I don't have to worry about like blurping anything out, or I don't talk controversy like the Iran war right now, which, I mean, it's kind of interesting because I'm not really a warmonger, but I mean, I feel like we're kind of at that point where war is just inevitable, because there's too many people joining sides, and the sides seem to be so far apart right now. So I'm kind of like, if it's going to happen, I guess it's going to happen. Unfortunately, as I have 2 boys that are at that age that if we did to do a world war, they'd be conscripted. And that'd be sad for me, and sad for millions of other people. But there's already people dealing with it right now. So it's, anyways, I try not to get into that. See, so easy to get into that, and I don't really feel like I need to be on either side. Whether you're a supporter of one side or the other, I don't feel like I need to support it. I think, unfortunately, we seem to have a lot of stuff in the world, but we'd have a very difficult time of sharing it. So And of course, other people have more radical ideas, how they want the world to be. They don't necessarily care about people just want to live. So there's my political statement. Yeah, whatever. I'm nobody. Nobody's going to join my cause. That's how it is, and I'm okay with that. Like, I don't need to be political. Anyways, so there you are. So YouTube is big for me. I hope that I'm finding a path here right now. So much has been going on, and yeah, besides the fact that the world's turning upside down, I'm just trying to find my own little direction, my own little space. Oh, by the way, the apartment that I applied for, it's nice. It's a nice apartment. Like, it's a newer building. It's a new building actually, and it's somehow there's some subsidies, and I may qualify, and the guy told me I would qualify, but yeah, if it works out, it's a nice apartment. It's not big, but I don't like cleaning, and smaller the better. I have to clean less, although, yeah. Now, anyways, okay, so what's going on next? So coming up this weekend, so today is Wednesday. On Sunday, I start a new schedule for work, which I'm very excited about because it maintains my schedule. I hope to really get back into my exercise regularly, to have a regular exercise, and I'm really dumbing it down and making it super basic again. But I want to get back into some strength stuff. I got some overtime tomorrow, and I really want to hopefully regulate my schedule so I can get a few more overtime hours when they pop up, because I've turned some down, and I got a little under the weather because my sleep schedule is all over the place. That messes me up, so I need to do that so I can get this chunk of cash set up so when I move, I got money to do what I need to do when I move, and then that's going to go right into my emergency fund. So hopefully by the time I'm done moving, I have an emergency fund well established that I've saved up enough to move, plus have that in there. And by the time I move, then it's only a few more months until, well, no, actually 2 more months, July and August, till I'm done probation. Once I'm done probation, it's really set, and then I only have 3 more months until I get my raises. So it's just trying to make life simple to get to the next step. That's all it's about. Weird thing though, just to even go completely off where we're at, is I haven't dated. I mean, I've kind of had an odd coffee date here and there. I haven't dated for years. And I've got this urge to date again. And I've been on the dating apps, and I never really put in an effort. I mean, I kind of asked people to go for coffee here and there, but I never really put a huge effort in. So I feel like I need to put more of an effort in. I'm even thinking about I need to go out. I've been looking at, and this happened a while back, where I started kind of checking out different beard styles and hairstyles, for guys my age, and kind of I need to have a look. And it's kind of funny because I don't spend any money on clothes really, unless what I have isn't enough, right? I don't want to do laundry 3 times a week. So if I don't have enough, then I buy something else. If it's got holes in it, I buy something else. That's kind of how I do it. And I don't really buy stuff for a certain style. I go find stuff that's on sale or whatever, except for shoes. If I don't have good shoes, I'm miserable. Anyways, and that doesn't mean they're stylish, they're just more expensive. But here I am thinking I need to have a look. And the look is, I got it in my mind, but now I need to start shopping. Now, when I start shopping that I really am into this, because I don't shop. Like, I go to a store, I get what I need. I need a shirt, I need underwear, I need pants, or whatever it is. Bang. In and out. And if they don't have it, I am annoyed. Not necessarily with anyone in particular, just it's annoying. Why don't you have this stuff? And I don't like ordering clothes online because sizing really is difficult. I know lots of people do it, but to me it is not the way to go. Like, I like to buy local. I guess I do have a political part of me, but I'm not against buying other stuff, but I find lots of times when I'm trying to buy something for a cheaper price, I end up buying a cheap product, and I absolutely hate that. Like, I like to go buy something that's sturdy, right? I want something that's going to last. I'll pay a little bit more for it, but I want it to last, right? I hate ordering these cheap things online and then they show up and they barely hold themselves together, let alone whatever they're supposed to be doing. Anyway, so here I am trying to get a new look, and I think that's why I want these glasses this summer. So it's now March, and I did this back in July, and I like these glasses. I like the look. And so what's my look going to be? And I figured out a beard look and a hair look. I looked up some pictures. So I got some older male model pictures on my phone. And when I got my hair cut the last time, which is now a while back, I showed the guy and I said, "Can you do this?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I can do that." And then he butchered it so bad. He's a young guy, nice guy, but if he doesn't get better at doing hair, he's not going to be doing it very long. Anyways, so now I've been hemming and hawing for weeks about this look. What am I gonna do? Am I gonna do this? Well, and then I'm like, okay, if I do it myself. So I'm actually been thinking about I'm gonna cut my own hair, cut my own beard. Now, beard a little bit easier. It's all on the front, but the last time I cut my hair, I missed a couple chunks on the back. Nobody told me about it until I caught a couple people laughing at me. And it's kind of interesting because I was like, yeah, you think somebody would say, hey, you missed part of your couple patches, and they weren't just like one strip. They were like a couple patches in different places. And I thought I thought I'd checked well enough, and I apparently missed them. And so I don't really want to do that again. But now with all the money that I'm trying to save, I'm like, do I want to spend $40 on a haircut and $40 on a beard trim? Because that's $80, and I'm like, that's not in my budget. But I want to have this look, and I'm thinking I might want to date again, and I'm thinking I might want a relationship, and I haven't quite defined what that is. I'm close. I'm open to marriage at some point, but I'm not open to, because I've gone on dates, and I went on 2 dates with this woman years ago. I can't even remember when this would be, probably 7 years ago. And on the second date, she was quizzing me about marriage, and I was like, I don't even know you yet. And since then, I've had women tell me that they just want to marry a guy. They just want to get married. So that before they've even considered whether they get along with them or anything like that, it's just a guy. I had one woman tell me that she just wants a guy so that he'll pay for stuff, and not in a, she's looking for a what do you call them? the money pit, the guy who's the golden goose, whatever. They're looking for a guy who's gonna mean they don't have to pay for rent, and they don't have to pay for a mortgage. That he's covering all the essentials in life, and their money is essentially their money. And I'm like, well, I'm not gonna be that guy because I don't have that much money, and I don't want to be in a relationship where I'm just getting married to somebody so that I'm their golden egg, right? Because then it becomes transactional, and then I start going, okay, what do I get in return? So if I'm in that relationship, what do I want? Is it sexual? Is it I want someone to cook and clean for me? Is it going into a traditional thing? And I'm like, I don't really need someone to cook and clean for me. I mean, I don't like cleaning, But if I want to pay somebody to clean, I'd hire a maid. If I don't feel like cooking, I can just order food or go out. So I don't really want a relationship based on transactions, essentially, right? And ironically, I saw a group of guys roughly my age today when I was out for coffee, and the one guy was complaining about his wife not paying for anything. And I understood by the conversation that they were just recently together, and he's like, well, she should be paying for this and paying for that, and I have to pay for that, and she doesn't want to pay for her. I'm like, how are you living with somebody and you haven't talked about any of this? And so for me, if I'm going to be with somebody, we have a conversation about what goes forward. Like that, to me, that's guys our age, we should be able to have an adult conversation with the woman about how our living arrangements are. I mean, it's not sexy, but I mean, yeah. Anyways, so all this kind of is going on. I'm moving, I'm starting a new job, and now I'm thinking I should date, and now I think I need to have a look, and I don't have money for a look, and I don't have money to do the traditional dating. Like, I still hear guys are like, they go out for dates and the woman judges you if you don't pay stuff. I'm like, well, I'm not going to pay $200 to go out for a fancy meal to impress a woman. I mean, I want to meet somebody I can talk to before, if I can't be friends with her. And I think this is going to be the most confusing transitional point for me, because before all this happened to me, I was okay just not dating. I was just doing my thing, and I had plans. And now I've decided to throw this into the mix. So yeah, because I've been divorced for over 10 years. Oh shit, over 15 years. Yeah. And I've hardly dated for over 10 years. I've maybe had 3 dates in 10 years. Here's at 8. I don't know. I dated one woman seriously, and I don't know if she jaded me, or I just realized that I keep falling for the same woman, and that really kind of made me realize I don't need the hassle. And the benefits did not meet the the absolute disaster that always entailed. So I'm like, I just don't need to be with people like that. So I just kind of gave up on it, I guess. But yet now I'm at a point where life's changing. I do have long-term goals, and they are to move out of the country. And so again, I start thinking, well, why do I want a relationship with somebody if I move and then they don't want to? It's just one big crazy fiasco. But eventually, I wouldn't mind being with somebody. So it's like, where do you start that? What are you waiting for? So I'm going to get a look. I'm going to start meeting people, and I know what I'm looking for now. I know what I'm wanting to do in the future. So if I meet somebody and they don't fit with my future, it will be really easy to just say, you know what, I don't think we're a good match, and nobody's time gets wasted, which I feel like I've never felt like people say that, oh, I wasted my time with this person. I never actually I wasted my time with somebody, but right now I feel like if I start the wrong relationship, I would be wasting my time. And I don't want to spend money on dating when I could be saving money to go do what I want to do. Like, that is so important to me. So that's wow, that really unloaded a lot today. That's a lot of stuff to unload. But that's where I'm at. That's where my brain is at right now. That's where my life is in flux. And it's just so much, so many new things to kind of angle with. And so of course I know dating will be put to the final. It will be my last concern right now. And it's not like the movies where a person gives up on it and then they just meet their soulmate. That hasn't happened. So until I actively start looking and I actively start putting myself in that, I'm available kind of mentality, that'll be gone. And right now I just have to get this job set up so I get past probation in 9 months and I get moved into a new place. I get myself set up there, and that's July and August, and then I can really start building something, I think. I don't know. Give me a comment. Let me know what you're going through within your life. If you have as many things kind of question marks when you're restarting, or are you just restarting job? Are you just restarting your relationship? Are you just or did you lose everything and you're starting over? And again, I gotta say this too, because I don't look like I lost everything. I don't look at it like that. Like my relationship with my ex, I feel like I lucked out, because I honestly feel if things kept going the way they were and I stayed with her, I would have died. I would have died. I was having so many issues with health and they're not her fault, but just the way we did things, the stress in our lives, just extraordinary. And the stress she caused me, right? And I can't say it's all her fault, but there was stress coming from her. So I feel like I didn't lose a relationship as much as I gained myself, right? But I don't have a relationship. I'm not with anybody. Everything went crazy because I quit my job and went back to school, but I don't feel like I lost a job because I actually quit the job. But now to restart is, I need a job, I need money, I need some security, I need a place to live, blah blah blah. So I don't feel like I lost stuff per se, as things didn't work out and I ended up in a worse situation. Anyways, that's the story. Like I said, give me comments, tell me what you think, what's going on in your life, and we'll see you for the next video. I hope everything's going well for you. Take care.